We want to bring in now Amani Perry. She's a professor at Princeton University and also the author of Breathe. It's a book that explores the underlying realities of raising young African-American boys in today's world. Professor, thank you so much for giving us some of your time tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I think we both understand what a cultural moment this trial is, and it's a lot bigger than George Floyd and a lot bigger than one day. How do you see it, and what is your reaction so far to what we've heard in court?
Sure. I mean, it's extremely painful to watch because we're sort of witnessing the moment, and we know the conclusion of that moment, which was the death of Mr. Floyd. I find myself anguished, really, thinking about, as we hear the testimony, this extreme vulnerability experienced by George Floyd, his resistance to getting out of the car, his fear, the ways in which the bystanders are describing how they couldn't intervene, the guilt felt by people who were present, right? Everybody appears to feel guilty except for the person who killed him. And now, because we're watching this on television, we are functioning as this kind of cloud of witnesses. And it's painful to watch, but we're also having to ask the question, when all of this is said and done, what will we have been witness to? You know, there were millions of people who took to the street and protest after the killing. And the question is, will there be some accountability now? Or will we be witness yet again to the approval of impunity on the part of officers? And so, so I think what we're seeing is a cultural flashpoint, and we're also experiencing a replay of a kind of anguish, in particular felt by Black Americans, but frankly, by many Americans of all groups, because the people who came out to protest, the people who were horrified, the people who were witnesses there, were not just African Americans, and yet we do know this is a particularly racialized experience.
And Professor, we're getting to the point of the trial where we expect to hear a lot about drug use. That's what our reporter a second ago focused on. We're going to hear a lot about heart disease and hypertension. It's worth reminding people that the medical examiner ruled this a homicide. How do you respond to people that believe it was the drugs or other health issues and not a knee on the neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds, largely responsible for Mr. Floyd's death?
Well, I would remind people that many, a huge proportion of Americans who are adults live with disabilities. So even if it were the case that his physical disabilities made him more vulnerable, certainly it's also true that officers have to take into account, when they encounter people that they are planning to arrest, that not everybody is in perfect health, right? So besides the fact that it seems clear that this was homicidal behavior, it's also the case that we have to take into account the potential vulnerability. And I think, for me, the really extraordinary piece of this thus far with the defense attorneys, I mean, I understand they're doing their job, but this narration of Floyd as dangerous, when it's very clear that he was incredibly vulnerable in this moment. And even the case of talking about drug addiction, you know, we have a society that punishes addicts rather than treats them. That's also one of the problems of our social order. You know, his girlfriend testified to how often they tried to get off the drugs. So even that, I think we ought to keep in mind that a different kind of response is appropriate. Right?
Professor, and let me jump in, because we're almost out of time. I definitely want to address this point because of your powerful book and talking to your sons. What will you tell them if he's found guilty? What will you tell him if Chauvin is acquitted?
Frankly, I don't know. I mean, what I do know is that they are well aware. They're 14 and 17 years old now. They're well aware that they are more vulnerable than other members of society, that they are presumed guilty, that they are presumed perpetrators in many instances in which, you know, they are the reality is that they're kind and good and decent, and they have to navigate the world with presumptions of guilt. Whatever the conclusion, that will be the case. I would like to be able to say to them that the society is moving closer to justice, closer to accountability, closer to decency. That's my hope.
Professor, thanks so much for being with us. I hope you come back as the trial continues. Expected 3.5 more weeks of testimony. A long way to go, certainly, but appreciate your personal insight tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.